We're going to be looking at two commands that we can use to handle very large CSV files. These commands are one that is simple, and we've talked about it in the past and you have used it, which is the head command, which is used to extract lines from the top of a text file, from the header if you want of a text file, and AWK, or there's also another open source version called GAWK. Both are open source, by the way. And this one's used to process text files. Could be comma separated files, could be tab separated files, lots of different types of files. Can extract specific fields, can extract specific lines, can remove some lines, can remove some fields. It's actually very powerful because it's a scriptable tool that you can actually write a little piece of code that AWK can use in order to process a text file. So let's start. So as you remember, we have a few text files that we want to play with, and I'm going to go here to our 311 data directory, and I'm going to download this file that we used this in the past, which is a 1.5 megabyte file, 1.42, which has some data from the fire incidents in Pittsburgh. So I'm going to go here, I'm going to click download, I'm going to save it, and it should be in my downloads directory. Let's click here, and indeed it's in my downloads directory. Having done that, what we're going to do is we're going to go into git bash. So here I have a git bash installed, and we're going to use git bash to create a few things. So let's check the current directory. We're in the users ARUZ. So let's change to the directory, I believe, downloads. So I can just type down and then tab, and it will auto complete it for me. So downloads, and here let's check if I have that file. I'm going to say list with long list ls space -l star.csv, and there's our file, which is AD.csv, 8076 and so on .csv. Let me increase a little bit the size of my window so that we can see it better. Okay, so that's our file. Let me clear the screen. And the first thing I want to do is I want to extract the top of this file. I'm going to extract the first line. So let's see the structure of this line. I'm just going to type head AD tab, and that will give you the first, I believe, 10 lines. I'm going to scroll up a little bit and notice that indeed the first line here, it has the description of what's in the file, every line of the file. So the call number, comma, incident type, comma, type description, all the way to the last two fields, comma, latitude and longitude. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to extract just the first line. I'm going to say head -1 here, and I'm going to extract the first line of 80. Please hit tab there, enter, and that's just my first line. And I need this first line because this is the first line that's going to be read by software like QGIS in order to understand what information is in the file. So I'm gonna extract this, and I'm going to send the output towards a file called initial-data.csv. Enter. So if I catalog initial data.csv, notice that it only has one file, one line, which corresponds to the one that we have extracted. Now let's use AWK, and let's use AWK for instance in this initial data.csv. So what I want to type is I'm going to type AWK, and I'm going to say -F to specify the separator that separates these fields, and the separator is a comma, and this is an abbreviated way of telling AWK that it's looking for comma separated fields. And then I type a single quote, and I'm just going to say print, and then the field number that I want to print. So let's print the first field, which is string 1, and then I'm going to close this, and then I need to give the file name, so initial-data.csv. So this command is telling AWK to print for us using, or to look for us in initial data CSV for the first field of several fields are separated by commas. So notice that the first field is cold number, which is what we see here on the screen. Cold number is our first field. I can also print our second field. Let me clear this. Let me do a cat initial CSV, and I'm gonna click or type arrow up and move. What if I want to print the second field? That's the second field incident type. What about if I want to print my third field, or I think it's the 17th field. 17 is latitude, 18 is longitude. Of course, this is just for initial data.csv, which is the file with only one line. So what about if I want to print, let's say, the first field of not initial data.csv, but the very large file, the 8D file. And then there's lots of lines. We can count how many lines were printed. There were 7,555 lines that were printed. So AWK allows you to extract multiple fields as well. So let's go here and let's go to the initial data CSV, and let's print the first one. Let's print the fourth one. Let's print the 17th one, and let's print the 18th one. So it's call, number, address, latitude, and longitude. And it's a little bit hard to read there, so what we could do is we could add in between these numbers a comma ourselves manually. And that will make it easier to read. Perfect. That's it. Let's do the same for the large file. Let's print this for 8D. But instead of printing all of these fields, including the latitude and longitude, I'm just going to print. So what we want to type, actually, I cleared the screen. What we want to type is print NR, starts for line number or number, and then I'm going to print a comma and then the first field. And there you go. I have my 7,555 lines with a comma separating them with the first field. So that's a basic use of AWK, and a separate video we're actually going to look at a more advanced use of the tool.